Hello and welcome back. Josh Dunlop here from Expert Photography, and this is the third and final part of the Milky Way photography guide. Now, there is one thing that you need to know about Milky Way photography that I haven't covered yet, and it's all about how to actually locate the Milky Way. Now, that might seem like a silly thing to say because we're in the Milky Way. If you look up, we're in the Milky Way. Well, yes, this is true, but it's not as easy as that. You can't go out any night of the week and look up and see the Milky Way. Not in great detail, at least, not enough to capture. What you need to do is actually research, and I say research, that's a grand term for it. Look up basically when is going to be the perfect conditions for Milky Way photography. So what do you have to consider before you go and do some Milky Way photography? Well, for one thing, in fact, let me tell you a story. The first time I tried to take photos of the night sky, I remember I'd left my house and I was like, I didn't really want to go out because it was cold and it was late. But I was like, no, I'm going out. I want to go and take photos of this. And I got to the end of my street and I went around the corner and I saw that there were just a load of clouds in the sky and they were blocking out the moon. And I thought, okay, good, I can't see the moon. And then I'm like, hang on, if I can't see the moon, I'm not going to see the Milky Way, am I? So that's something you need to consider, the weather. The weather plays a huge part in the Milky Way photography. You don't really want any clouds in the sky. You want a crystal clear sky because it's such a wide field of view, especially when you create a panorama, something that I actually go into great detail on the course, especially when you look at the whole panorama of the photo. You don't really want to have any clouds in it. Now, it can work. I have a photo where I quite like the effect of it, but ideally you want to have a clear sky. So always check the weather. The second thing is, where is the moon? The moon acts like a giant light in the night sky. If the moon is out, it is going to wash out all of the stars. The second that moon comes out, the visibility goes from 100 to about 3. So you need to make sure that the moon's phases are ideally in a new moon or around the new moon. The new moon is when there's no moon in the sky at all. And that might sound a bit backwards, I understand. A full moon is when it's out, and then 2 weeks later it's a new moon and it's completely disappeared. So ideally you want to be shooting around then, or when the moon is not in the sky in your part of the world. And there's times I was in Yosemite National Park, and I actually went back to the hotel to bed at about 11 o'clock, and I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I knew that I had a 45-minute window of when the moon was going to be down and the sun wasn't going to be up. And I'd be able to capture the Milky Way. And I got a great photo from it. But you have to watch these windows of when you can actually see the Milky Way. So if the weather is bad and the moon is out, you're not going to see the Milky Way. It's just as simple as that. And you've also got to consider the time of night. Now, there's a great app on my phone. Let me show you. It's called Sol. And what it will do is it will show me what phase the sky is currently in, where the moon is and where the sun is. So it'll show me the golden hour, the civil dusk, the nautical dusk, the astronomical dusk. You will only be able to see photos of the stars during full darkness. At the moment, that is the majority of the night because I'm filming this in winter and we have quite long long nights during the winter. So that's a good amount of time. During the summer, that's a much smaller amount of time. And as soon as astronomical dawn comes up, and that's about currently 2 hours before the sun comes up, your visibility of the stars disappears. That astronomical dawn is when the sun is way off. I'm not an expert on this in particular because it's not that relevant to photography, but when the sun is like way off behind the other side of the earth and it's peaked up just enough to send light into the sky above you and wash out the stars. And it can take a couple of hours before it actually comes over the horizon, but that's more than enough to ruin the visibility of the stars. So that's something you have to consider. You don't want to go out and take photos of these stars on either a cloudy night or when the moon's out or when you've only got 25 minutes before the sun comes up. If you've planned it right, you can do it just perfectly, but be very wary of this. It's just something you need to consider. So that is what to watch for when taking photos of the Milky Way. The next thing you need one of my favorite little tips is when you get out to take photos of the Milky Way, chances are you'll be able to get a rough idea of where it is just by looking up. It kind of just looks like a very faint cloud. It looks far more dramatic in a photo. But if you can't find it in the sky, what I like to do is, instead of setting my camera up to a 30-second exposure, f2.8 and ISO 3200, what I'll do is I'll crank my ISO up as far as it will go. And this camera, it's ISO 25,600, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 3 stops more light than 3200. And I'll just have like a 2-second exposure. Now that's going to be a super grainy, noisy photo that I'd never be able to use really. However, that's not, the purpose of that photo is not to publish it, it's just so that I can look at my camera, and every time I take a photo, instead of waiting 30 seconds to see whether I've composed the photo exactly as I want to see it, I only have to wait 2 seconds. So I can see where the Milky Way is, I can see whatever my foreground object is, I can align it in the frame and compose the photo exactly how I want in a matter of seconds rather than 10, 15 minutes. So that is the idea behind it. So that's one of my favorite little tips is, if you're trying to take photos of the Milky Way, make sure that you actually take quick photos to compose it first, and then you're not wasting all your battery life either, so you can actually spend much more time taking these photos. So a quick recap: no clouds in the sky, no moon, ideally during the full darkness of the night. Just look online, there's always guides on when this is going to be, and there's apps on your phone. The app I use is called Sol, S-O-L. And if you're going to compose photos, take quick 2-second photos to compose. Then when you're happy, switch it to 30 seconds or however long it's going to be for your camera. So that is part 3, the finish of my Milky Way photography guide, a 3-part video series. If you've enjoyed the videos and if you're excited about Milky Way photography, you get a bit of a passion for it, then you should check out the course that's beneath us on this page. It is a brand new course I'm releasing. It's called Milky Way Mastery, and it is going to show you everything you need to know about Milky Way photography, from the start to the finish, from the gear to the settings, which we've already covered some of, but I can really not go in great detail in these short videos. We look at absolutely everything: how to stitch panoramas, how to post-process them. There's training guides on still wall photography. There's awesome bonuses. Everything you possibly want to know is right down below. So go ahead and check it out and let me know what you think. Thank you and happy shooting.